What's up, guys? So, I was waiting for Mr. Star Wars Theory to do a breakdown on episode 5, because I gotta tell you, man, there's a lot that needs to be uncovered in this episode. That is for sure. Because, man, shit, what an episode. If you have not seen my review on Obi-Wan Kenobi series episode 5, I suggest you go check it out. And if you have not seen the episode or any of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, shame on you. I suggest you go check it out. It's hell of a good. I would say episode 1 and episode 2, it wasn't too bad. But by the time we got to episode 3, it just got better and better and better. There are still certain parts that, I question and I kind of pick out here and there, But either way, it's still good. So I suggest you go check it out. So, before we check his Mr. Star Wars Theories breakdown, make sure, if you have not done so, subscribe to this channel. That way I can, keep up giving you guys more content on my channel. And make sure after you guys are subscribed, you guys click on the notification bell, so that way you guys can get more upcoming videos in the near future. And make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to Mr. Star Wars Theory if you have not done so. I say that he does a really good job on breaking down these Star Wars movies or Star Wars TV series and stuff like that. I think he's doing pretty good with the breakdown of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Because there's certain things that I didn't even know about, and I was thinking damn, I didn't even thought about that. So go check them out. The link will be in the description box. Now, why don't we check this breakdown out?
What an absolute beautiful episode. I feel like this was the episode that really should have started Kenobi off, maybe even as early as episode 2, or definitely episode 3. I think waiting this long for these flashbacks was just a little bit too dragged out, but I'm happy that we got it. I think we have a ton to talk about over the next 7 days until we get the season finale of Kenobi. So let's get to this breakdown, and then I will make a lot of videos covering a lot of different things that I know a lot of people have questions about, including myself. So, we start this episode off on Coruscant, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are training together. Now, the timeline here is before episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And the reason I say this is because Anakin still has his right arm. And well, at the end of Attack of the Clones, Dooku actually took his right arm, so we know that this is definitely before any of that happened. So Vader is greeted by Reva aboard.
Or it could probably happen in the Attack of the Clones before he chopped his arm off, or maybe before
Inquisitor.
Before Attack of the Clones, yeah.
Of course, we know that she wanted this title for no other reason than to get closer to Vader and to follow him around on more dangerous missions for more opportunities to kill him. And why she hates Kenobi? Well, I'll explain it further later on, but essentially she hates him for failing Anakin and causing Anakin to turn to the dark side and destroy her life. As Obi-Wan Kenobi lands...
Well, technically it was but Obi-Wan Kenobi, he had no choice. He had to fulfill his promise to his master that he was going to train Anakin.
Vader says
Yoda and Mace Windu have warned him not to.
Now, what I think he means by this is that they need to worry about breaking Kenobi, for if Kenobi is broken, being their leader, the rest will also be broken. Lola can be seen with the red lights now instead of blue, destroying the wiring as it closes the hall doors, locking them in as Vader approaches. Now, I really loved how Kenobi tells them that Vader is coming, and it seems like he knows a lot about Vader, and they're like, well, why had he know this? Explaining that he won't stop for pleasantries or to be patient, and when they ask how
because he knows who's behind that
fighting again. Now, the whole episode has this beautiful theme of moments between Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight in Attack of the Clones, or just before it, And if Anakin has the upper hand in one scene, it flashes then to present day with Obi-Wan, and it shows how he feels in that moment, and then vice versa. If Obi-Wan has the upper hand, it shows Vader and how he feels, and mimicking Anakin's feelings in that time, showing that this is still very much Anakin Skywalker. This is not the powerful Vader that we know in A New Hope, Empire, or Return of the Jedi. This is still very much child-minded Anakin. He's impulsive, he's brash, he's not the totally collected Vader that we see later on in life. And we get that later explained with Kenobi's lessons, which I think was done absolutely beautifully in this episode. It almost feels like someone completely different wrote this episode, and actually that's true. This episode was written by Andrew Stanton, not Joby Harold. Now, with Anakin and Obi-Wan's fighting continued in this second scene, we see the amazing lessons that he gives Anakin, showing that these were the very lessons that could have saved Anakin's life in their duel on Mustafar had he actually listened to them. Obi-Wan tells Anakin that he grows too aggressive. A Jedi's goal is to defend life, not take it. Really showing some of the red flags with Anakin, and it does this perfectly. It portrays Anakin as the aggressor, which falls perfectly in line with his style of fighting. Form 5, Demso, the offensive form, whereas Obi-Wan's is Surisu, Form 3, the defensive form. Anakin says mercy doesn't defeat the enemy, which is 100% Anakin's frame of mind. That mercy is for the weak. We do not train to be merciful here. A man confronts you, wrong show. Anakin would make John Kreese and Terry Silver very proud. Vader observes Jabim and launches the attack as Kenobi prepares everyone for the Empire. As the Empire lands, they set up the turrets to blast the doors, and Leia goes to fix the wiring. How she knows tech stuff? Well, very easy. Same as Anakin building C-3PO by the age of 9. She's a Skywalker. They're basically like human gods, but no flaws.
She has the influence of her father.
Reva lands and the Empire fires upon the doors. They set up and they get ready. Obi-Wan gets a holo message from Bail Organa, who shows his concern for him and Leia. He is also worried that Vader found him, Obi-Wan, and knows of the children, Anakin's children, that is. He says he's going to go to Tatooine to help Owen with Luke Skywalker. Now, of course, this is a big mistake. Obi-Wan should be deleting these messages, but hey, we see that later on helps with the plot. We learn that Tala couldn't be a part of the Empire anymore. We develop her story and learn of her past, which was quite interesting. She was part of the Inquisitors terminating 14 families of Force sensitives, obviously an officer for the Empire, and she witnessed it. So now she betrays the Empire and saves Force sensitives with the help of Quinlan Vos, as we learned in Episode 3. Now, when Obi-Wan does look at the wall with all of the Orbish writings and the writings of the different Jedi that have been there, and all the different lightsabers that we see, I will be making another video going into deep detail about that. And if anyone can decipher those words, please by all means, you'll be saving me some time. So as things start to get heated, Roken comes out with a Wookiee bowcaster, which is a very powerful weapon that Wookiees use, and we see Chewie using it in the original trilogy, as well as Revenge of the Sith. Reva and Obi-Wan speak through the blast doors at Kenobi's request, and Kenobi tells her that Vader would never let his true identity be revealed. He realizes that the only way Reva can know that Vader is Anakin is if she was a youngling at the Jedi Temple during Order 66. The wheels start to turn in Obi-Wan's mind, and he's realizing who she really is. He tells her that Anakin killed younglings, and she tells him that the younglings thought Anakin was there during Order 66 to help them, and that she hid with the bodies of her youngling friends in order to survive. Kenobi realizes she isn't serving Vader, but rather hunting him to get closer to him. That's why she's doing all of this. The rank of Grand Inquisitor grants the Jedi to get closer to Vader on dangerous missions, meaning more chances for Reva to fight or blindside Vader. Her anger with Kenobi is revealed as well when we learn she hates him for failing Anakin and causing Anakin to execute Order 66 on the Jedi and her friends and herself. She blames Obi-Wan for what happened to the galaxy and for essentially being a bad mentor and not saving them. She's been playing the Empire this whole time in order to get closer to Vader, and Obi-Wan tries to recruit Reva to help him defeat Vader. Which is true. I mean, he can't defeat Vader at this point in time. He's not trained properly anymore. If this were Revenge of the Sith Kenobi, I'd still say he'd lose against this version of Vader. So anyways, she slices through the door and breaks
when he was trying to save the former Inquisitor, former Imperial lady,
refugees, and they fire back.
Weak.
Kenobi ignites his blue lightsaber and goes full prequels mode as he deflects blasters against.
But still, though, I would have thought he would at least
Kenobi is definitely back,
refresh
fully,
his training, like he would remember it.
The loader droid that I thought
you know what I mean?
takes shots and sacrifices himself to protect Tala as she detonates a thermal detonator and buys Kenobi some time. Obi-Wan realizes that he's beaten, and we get another beautiful flashback of Anakin getting the upper hand on Obi-Wan. Now, this is an important scene. We see Anakin striking down on Obi-Wan, who is cornered and defending himself down on one knee. Does this look familiar to you guys? This is the same angle mimicked from Luke attacking Vader in the same way in Return of the Jedi.
Like a little flashback
of
the Return of the Jedi.
Attacking, whereas Luke eventually stops. And I think this shows quite the difference between father and son, and of course the moment. I also want to note that the choreography just before Anakin bests Obi-Wan is very similar, if not identical, to their duel on Mustafar as they go through the tight walls into the control room. Kenobi gives his weapon to Haja and surrenders to the Empire, saying there are other ways to fight.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was similar to the Return of the Jedi, and it makes sense.
Give himself up.
Makes a lot of sense.
He has a bigger plan, and that is to
recruit. So they took some of the parts out from
the
old Star Wars movie.
Before her. He tells her
Return of the Jedi and stuff like that.
Again to the children and families
in there
that she's going to let this all happen. As Vader will be focused on Kenobi, Reva just needs to take the opportunity to take Vader out. Kenobi is trying to turn her to his side for the greater good. Now, Kenobi is sent back through the doors, and while I thought this was kind of weird, I think Reva is actually working with Kenobi now at this point. She wants Kenobi to get away, and she wants him to get the people to safety. The flashback shows Anakin using his iconic behind-the-back move as he moves as swiftly as he did. Hats off to Hayden and Ewan. Hayden doesn't miss a beat after 17 years and continues to be a great swordsman with Ewan McGregor. He disarms Obi-Wan and learns a powerful lesson foreshadowing his loss.
Even though Disney could have done better with his with the looks,
which is
absolutely
correct. Anakin was far too focused on the future.
They could have put some CGI effects on both of them to make it look like the younger version of Anakin. Because he looks old.
Especially if his emotions.
I mean, I know, actors, they're kind of old already by now, but
they were. As they ready to leave, Vader breaks through the doors and sees the ship taking off as he controls it with the Force. This scene was the most badass scene that I've seen with Disney Star Wars. This was straight out of Force Unleashed, where Starkiller was controlling the Star Destroyer. It echoed a lot of that scene.
I didn't know that either.
Taking quite a bit of inspiration from the Force Unleashed in the last 2 episodes. As Vader drops the ship down, he
one of the best scenes, in my opinion. If not the best.
The emergency shuttle escape and blast off into space. Too fast for Vader to grab a hold of it. He's standing there looking like a chump, and we get another flashback concluding the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. This time with Kenobi taking Anakin's lightsaber with the Force and telling him that he is a great warrior, but his need to prove himself is his undoing. Until then, a Padawan you will still be, as it shows Anakin's immense disappointment in himself. All he wanted to be was a master, and at this point he was still a Padawan. Then of course in Revenge of the Sith he became a knight, but of course he wanted that master rank. As we get a shot from Anakin to Vader showing exactly how he feels in this moment, they are doing a beautiful job of portraying the past to the present with how Anakin felt and how Vader feels now in the same exact emotion. And I think if Vader and Kenobi never fight again, this would be the perfect connection into A New Hope when Obi-Wan and Vader meet again on the Death Star.
Yeah.
And Vader tells Obi-Wan,
but we will see until episode 6 if they do
fight master. But of course we know they're gonna fight again, so that's gonna definitely have to lead into Vader losing. Reva shows up from behind him and tries to ignite her lightsaber to kill him. He sensed it, of course, and freezes her with the Force, just like Fallen Order when he fought the second sister and Cal Kestis. He toys with her, completely making her.
And I have to say that I sit down and review it. Like Vader was toying with Reva around, like she ain't shit
the other half to
compared to Vader.
Besting her in lightsaber combat without even putting any effort into it. As he drops her to her knees, he summons both sabers, and for a moment, I thought that he was going to end her like how Anakin Skywalker did to Dooku in Revenge of the Sith on the Invisible Hand ship. However, he didn't do that. He stood over her and plunged the saber into her, just as Anakin plunged it into her as a youngling. Now, look, I watched this scene over and over and over again to confirm that he did indeed stab young Reva. We see her as a youngling make a face of pain as Anakin plunges it, only to be connected to Vader, finishing the movement. So it's like they're kind of showing the moment of Anakin in Order 66, making one thrusting motion, only to have Vader retract the saber or follow through with it and then retract it. And we see both young Reva and present-day Reva making the same sort of in-pain face as they both fall over, dizzy and in pain, dying. So, in my opinion, I think Anakin definitely did stab her. I just don't think the way that this was shot and directed, that they wanted to show that Reva was watching from afar or got away somehow. I think she was stabbed the same way she was stabbed here. Which, to be honest, I don't really see that making any sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't make any sense,
considering the lightsaber hole would probably
because if you usually like when you stab it through the lightsaber
the Jedi comes in and kind of explains some things,
in half that person's body.
That in a second. Vader tells her that
they would have been dead by now. I kind of disagree. I don't think he killed her. I think he kind of used her in a way.
He was just playing.
Or maybe he did kill, like he did stab her, and then like
he tells her that revenge
somehow like they let the stormtrooper bring her into the ship, and you know the robot, the droids.
He explains
the Imperial droids, they were repairing her and all that shit. That could possibly happen too.
And they merely used her to get them closer to their enemies.
That's a little confusing.
That she was going to betray them. The
I didn't even think about that.
And Vader walk away as they leave her in the gutter, while Kenobi learns that the hyperdrive is down. So this of course means that they can't move fast and that the Empire will track them and catch up to them, meaning Vader will get to Kenobi in Episode 6, the season finale. He senses a disturbance in the Force, much like how Yoda sensed Order 66, as Reva finds the comlink from Kenobi that was dropped by Raja. As she sees the holo message of Bail Organa telling Obi-Wan about Anakin finding out about the children, and that he's going to go to Tatooine to help Owen with Luke. So Reva already met Owen in the town, if you remember in Episode 1, and she knows now who he is. She will find Luke as we end the episode over Luke sleeping in his bed. For me, this episode was a massive win. Of course, there were a few things that I thought were kind of weird, but it was just completely washed away by how amazing the episode actually was. It portrayed so many.
So wait a minute. So she's actually alive on
episode prequels.
She's gonna be on episode 6
to Obi-Wan and Vader now. It humanized Vader. It made.
I would have thought that she would be like slowly like dying and just preaching this message.
Yes. Were there a few
and
things
then
that
she
were kind of inconsistent
blacked out
or weird with the other episodes?
I thought maybe that would have happened.
But overall, I really enjoyed this one. I
She's
thought
still
it did
alive.
a bang-on job of portraying the characters and evolving the characters like how we know them to be and taking them to the next level from where they were at the beginning of this story. W's in the chat right now. I want comments all over the board. It portrayed Vader exactly how I felt he was portrayed in the games and the comics. And it showed the beautiful training with Anakin and Obi-Wan that tied into how each of them felt later on in the present day, kind of going back and forth. It was magnificent. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm going to make tons of videos regarding a lot of your guys' questions. So flood the comments right now. Let me know what videos you want me to make, what theories we can talk about. I love being this excited for Star Wars. It is so much more enjoyable, so much more fun, and really brings out the kid in me. Leave a like on this breakdown if you enjoyed it. Until the next episode on Star Wars Theory, remember, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, the Force will be with you, always.
Oh man. Good job as usual, Mr. Theory, Mr. Star Wars Theory, good job. Yeah, like I said, that's a little confusing of how Reva got stabbed when she was a kid and now. Makes you kind of wonder, like, here's my two, so it can go two ways, right? Either Anakin did stab her once, and then when he became Darth Vader, he stabbed her again, which is kind of confusing, because usually when when you stab in the Star Wars movie in general, when you usually stab somebody through their body with a lightsaber, they would have been dead by now. Or the other option would be, the other way would be that he didn't kill her, which I kind of have a feeling I don't think it's possible, because then he wouldn't complete his mission, which was delivered from the Emperor. But it can very possible where, he kept her alive and took her with him, and then trained her and all that stuff, and then she tried to use it against them, and then eventually it started to backfire her. I don't. That can be it. My gut is thinking that similar as theory. I really think that she got stabbed through, through the lightsaber. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Even though I said it like a bunch of times already. But anyways, it's what it is. Yeah, that's the only thing. I'm like scratching my head because I don't know. Hey man, I'd be amazed. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if she's alive, because then you would have seen her dead in episode 5 before they cut that out and move on to Obi-Wan in the ship. So I'm confused. I'm confused too. I was like, maybe theory can elaborate more on that. Like maybe, because I'm sure a lot of people would be are very confused on how did she or did she not die. I have a feeling she's still alive, which is insane, because like I said, usually when you stab somebody through the lightsaber through their own body, they should be dead. I mean, we've seen that time to time from the Phantom Menace to Attack of Clones to Revenge of the Sith. Even the Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. I mean, we've seen it before. Usually they die. So I think that's the only thing. I think that's one of the biggest things I was very confused about. As he mentioned that now, and I didn't even talk about that on review. On my review, I didn't talk about that because I was so caught up with, I was caught up in the moment with how Vader used his force to take down the ship and destroy it, or bring down the ship and destroy it, and the flashback between Anakin and Obi-Wan when Vader was Anakin and all that shit. So I got caught up in the moment. I completely forgot about the way how she was stabbed and the way how somehow that she's alive. I don't know, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think she's alive, or do you think she's dead? I have a feeling she's still alive. Somehow she's alive. Kind of interesting feeling on the. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it on episode 6. I don't know. But either way, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy my video, you can go ahead and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and smash that share button. Also, while you're at it, after you subscribe, why don't you go ahead and click on notification bell so that way you guys can get more upcoming videos in the near future. And if there's any video requests you guys want me to take a look at, you can always just leave it down in the comment section down below. And make sure, like I said before, check out Mr. Star Wars Theory. He does an amazing job on breaking down these Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and You know, he does really good Star Wars fan-made films and all that stuff. So make sure you go check him out. I'll leave it on the link below, you know, in the description box, so you guys can go and check him out. Alright guys, well, may the force be with you, and peace out.